Hi, I'm Diane Dayton, backstage at Berks, catching up with artists scheduled at the 34th annual Boscov's Berks Jazz Fest. Find out about their shows and what's going on in their lives. And if you like this cast, please share it. Thanks for joining me. Catching up right now with Jeff Kashiwa. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing wonderful. How have you been? It's been a long
I've
time.
been doing well, and I'm so excited for Berks Jazz Fest again. This is such a wonderful kickoff to spring and music
Yeah.
and all those things I think were wonderful. So
Yes,
yeah. So you're going to be joining us and you're going to be there with 480 East. You've been doing some projects with them for a while, performing, correct?
I have. Yeah, we've been doing a couple of dates here and there. We have the same agent, so he puts us together, and I couldn't be more thrilled because I tell Tony that just thinks Tony and Rob just think I'm flattering them. It's the truth. Before I played with them, I was a big fan. I still am a big fan,
Mhm.
and so much so that I would get their new releases, purchase them, and put headphones on and study them because the way they produce is very interesting, very unique, and meticulous. So I've always tried to pick up on production ideas from them.
Well, it's such a great sound, and you add something to this. I mean, the synergy and the chemistry that you have all together.
Yeah, it feels good. It's a natural fit. It really does feel good, and I love playing with them. They're good, great guys too.
So you are going to be at Berks Jazz Fest and doing that with them, and that's going to be that first weekend that you're there on that
Yeah,
Saturday, right?
yeah. Let's pull up our calendars.
Flip up the calendars here and make sure that we're accurate. Yes, you are there on Saturday, April 5th. It's a 4 o'clock show. So, what a great way to start into the evening. And it'll be right there in the small ballroom, which is at the Doubletree by Hilton.
I
But
always look forward to that. We can have the midnight jams,
Mhm.
which is past my bedtime. But anyway, the best part of those things is hanging out backstage and getting a chance to just chat with everyone, see all your friends, in one room.
Absolutely. And you get to do that Friday night and then Saturday night as well. And you
Mhm.
never know with those jams what's going to happen, do you?
No, we, which is good and bad.
It's
It's like,
good.
okay, here we go.
Here we go. What I love about it is it will never, ever be the same, that moment again. And that
True.
moment that you share with those other artists and with the audience that absolutely loves these unscripted jazz jams with Gerald Veasley at 11:30. And people just come to this and they just totally appreciate it.
That's right. And a lot of times, you get just by the luck of the draw, you get partnered with someone who you don't normally play with, and a good chemistry happens. And so you think, okay, we should play more together.
Yeah.
It,
And that's what I
it,
think happens at Berks too. Don't you find that you connections with other artists and then other projects and things come out of
yeah.
that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're all thank goodness we're all busy working, but it really is nice to have a central festival like Berks where we can come together, have a drink together, have a meal together, and just talk. And then, of course, play music.
Of course. Now, music education is so much a part of your life. So, talk a little bit more about that and where you are right now.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about it. I've always taught here in my home one-on-one for years, but the last 15 years, I actually had a formal teaching position. I have a formal teaching position at Shoreline Community College. So it is really great to teach there for a number of reasons. I'm a product of the arts in public school education, and I grew up in the Shoreline School District. So I'm actually
Mhm.
teaching in the same district where I learned music.
Oh, do you teach children that you know their parents?
Well, actually, it's funny you should mention that. So this is a college, so most of my students are young adults, 20
Okay.
something girls, but I do have a small handful of what we call running start students, which is a wonderful program where high school students can get college credit and
Okay.
participate in the band. But I did have one young trombone player, and he says, "You taught my dad." I said, "Oh my God, have I been that long?" And sure enough, that's the first time I felt very old in that moment.
Well, you're only going to hear more of that, right?
Yeah, I think so, unfortunately.
As time goes on, too. Well, music education is key. I mean, to a lot of things in life, right, Jeff?
Absolutely. It's been said by many scholars who have studied how the brain learns, and they say that when you learn music, you are using every part of your brain. We always talk about left side and right side of the brain.
Mhm.
That's a sort of a simplified version of this. But I firmly believe to play music and to understand music, I have a passion for teaching music theory
Yeah.
because I didn't get it when I was in up until high school. And I didn't, not until I went to the Berklee College of Music was where the lights turned on for me with
Mm,
regard to music theory. So I enjoy helping students find their way and finding clarity with this sort of can be confusing subject of music theory.
yeah. Wow, what a connection you must have with your students, Jeff, because it's such a personal thing.
Yeah, I really but after a lecture, you look at the board and there's sharps and flats and arrows and this and that and the other. It's like it looks like math. It's not math, but it looks like it. And I'm saying, forget all this. Just use your heart, use your ears. You know, this is this is sort of an after the fact explanation of why it sounds good, but always trust your heart, always trust your ears.
And I think something else that I think of you, and that's being prepared and being prepared for an opportunity. And specifically in my mind, it goes back to how prepared you were when you started to play with the Rippingtons.
Sure, yeah. I I really wanted some sort of a gig and I liked the group. And I just started learning their songs by the suggestion of their bass player, who was a friend of mine, Steve Bailey. And so I just started memorizing their material. He was kind of coaching me, saying, "Why don't you memorize these three songs, memorize these four songs?" But it paid off because, um, and it really is true. I can't emphasize this enough to my students. It's like there are so many great saxophone players in LA. I was not even the top, whatever number you want to throw out there. It wasn't me, but I was the most prepared because I had spent the time to learn the material.
And that gave you this opportunity. I mean, wow, if you're prepared and you're given the opportunity and they come together, boy, there's wow, connection and
Yeah, and later in life, as a leader myself, it's leaders have this in common. We don't like to rehearse.
mm,
The music is written, just listen to it and make it sound good.
okay.
Speak what you can.
Yeah. Well, you are working on new music. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, my latest release is called Luminoso. That was released back earlier in 24, I think in June. And it's a collection of Brazilian songs written by Joyce Moreno, who is a celebrated Brazilian composer. She's a wonderful vocalist and guitarist and still living and just a wonderful musician. I didn't know about her. My old high school friend, Jeff Volkman, Jeff and I played in the jazz ensemble at Shorecrest High School in the Shoreline School District. We played together and we graduated in 81 and we kept in touch a little bit, but not really. And so, 42 years later, he calls me and says, "It's Jeff Volkman. Remember me?" It's like, "Of course I do." He said, "I'm working on a project, collection of songs." And he explained the whole thing to me. And sure enough, the music was beautiful. So I was on board. This was going to be his project. And then about four songs into it, he said, "You know what? Let's just reverse this. Let's make this your project because it's featuring you." So I said, "That's a great idea, Jeff." So off we went. We finished it, and I'm really, really proud of it. It's different. It is smooth. It is jazz, but it's not smooth jazz. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a different genre, slightly different genre, but I love it. And then before that was finished, I started working on the new CD, which is not what I'm working on now.
Okay.
And that I went to my old friend Dave Kohansky, who is the composer of the Ah Ooh song. Actually, all my favorite songs from my CDs, he's the guy that wrote them. So I went
Okay.
back to that well of creativity, and he wrote some really nice material for the new CD that's coming out.
Wow. Collaborations are really important. They're really key, aren't they? To direction and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. I love working with Dave because I can like just we had a long talk about concept before we started this project. Like, what kind of song, what kind of music do you want to do? And I said it's all about feeling. It's all about instincts and feeling. And here is a collection of 10 of my favorite songs that I keep on listening to over and over again. We're talking like Tin Man from America. We're talking, old stuff like that I like, James Taylor, old James Taylor recordings. There's stuff that are my favorite songs that I love.
Mhm.
And I'm saying this is the emotion of what I want to say. So that's off. He went to write things that not really copying any of those, but were kind of inspired by those songs.
Well, that's the level we all connect with music. It's emotion. It
Absolutely.
absolutely is, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it seems so obvious to anyone talking about music, but the thing is, we musicians can, especially we saxophone players, can get so caught up in the technique and the gear you're using, the mic you're using, all that other stuff that really is important. I can talk about that stuff for hours with my sax buddies, but in the end, none of it matters. None of it matters. It's just what are you feeling and what are you sharing?
Yeah. Well, talking about some collaborations, what was it? Was it 2004 you started Sax Pack? Is that
Yeah, that's right. 2004. Yeah. Yeah.
okay?
That's the most common question is like, when are you guys going to play again? And people don't realize Steve Cole and Kim Waters and were the best of friends. That's why I think the Sack Pack worked because it was
Mhm.
genuinely, it wasn't really a package that was thrown together. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, we were on three different labels, you know, very separated and it's very siloed in every way. But our friendship brought us together and it continues to bring us together. As a matter of fact, we have a group text that's been going since 2004, and I just texted him some old footage I found off of an old hard drive, which is always fun to do. Like, remember this, and it was just us in the studio messing around, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Yeah, of course. Because I remember when Sax Pack, was at Berks Jazz Fest several times too. So that was a
Yeah,
lot of fun. There is something about Berks Jazz Fest too. It's such a family there, isn't it, Jeff? It's
absolutely,
warm and welcoming.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and it was so sad to see John Ernesto step down, but I see him on the email chain, so he's still involved, right?
Oh,
He's
absolutely. He can't
yeah,
leave. Yeah,
good. I'm
we need him.
really like
We
John.
need him. Yes.
You didn't go away.
Yes. So he's definitely there and full force, and it really
Oh,
makes a
wonderful.
difference in pulling along.
I mean, his heart and his generosity and spirit. Well, Gary Spencer too,
Oh,
who
yeah.
left.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of people that were so, Stanley, the whole crew there that would volunteer their time to help out. They're like, it is a family. You're right.
Yeah, it truly is. Jeff, let me just ask you a crazy off the cuff question. Is there something that we don't know about you that you would like to share?
Hmm. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's that big of a deal because I'm not very good at it, but I've been recently trying to learn to cook better because
Oh,
like
really?
up
Okay.
up until now, I've had like maybe two or three dishes that I would rotate, like just, and they're okay, but I wanted to expand my palate, and so I was just trying. Become more curious about
Well, then
cooking.
do tell. What are you starting to make?
Well, it came up on my Facebook feed or Instagram feed. Is Stanley Tucci's? His name is on it, so it must be his.
Okay.
But he's a foodie, and so what did I look at last night? Two dishes. One of them was it's delicious. Looks delicious. Baked salmon with a cranberry salsa thing on top.
Oh,
Really sounds good. And
yeah.
then also it's one that I eat over at Jazz Alley all the time. Figure I'd learn to make it myself is chicken piccata with
Oh,
lemon sauce.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's stuff
yeah.
I just want to learn.
I wish maybe sometime we can get a some sort of cooking uh, feature at Berks Jazz Fest because I've talked to several artists that are into cooking and into
Yeah,
that sort of thing, and I think it would be kind of fun to cook with the artist, don't you think?
that sounds like a great program. VIP thing, you know.
Yeah. And we
Yeah,
can have music, we can have dinner and have cooking. So
great
we're
idea.
putting that out there, right? Maybe one of these years. Well,
Yeah.
I so appreciate you taking time, and I can't wait to catch you when you're back at Berks Jazz Fest this year with
Yeah.
480 East and also with some of these unscripted jazz jams with Gerald Beasley at night because they truly are a good time.
Yeah, I love playing with Gerald as well. He's just a wonderful, generous, warm spirit on stage. He's got a great energy,
Yeah.
So
And you
always
can't
enjoy
beat
playing with
Gerald for doing a jam. I mean, just the way he handles that zoo, perhaps.
him.
Yeah,
He's the zookeeper
yeah, he is the zookeeper. And
and
it's
the groove keeper. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Thanks again, Jeff,
my
and
pleasure.
safe travels, and we'll see you and hear you when you get here.
I'll see you soon.
10 exciting days of concerts, jams, and more. Tickets are on sale now. For the latest artist, venue, and scheduling info, and for tickets, visit berksjazzfest.com.